Humans may be masters of most parts of the world, but there are also places where animals rule. Many species of animals have made several world islands their unique territory. Let's see together. Number 1. Penguins Island. The Falkland Islands are a peninsula in the South Atlantic. The exciting thing about this island is its large number of penguins, which attracts many tourists to watch this island today. These penguins live in protected areas, so people cannot harm them. Of course, we do not mean the protected area is what you have in mind. These penguins live on a lot of underground bombs, and because people do not approach the area for fear of their lives, it has become just like an animal sanctuary. How these penguins live in such a place has an exciting story that we will discuss later. The Falkland Islands are located 500 kilometers from South America. For this reason, throughout history, Argentina has always considered this peninsula for itself. But since 1833, the peninsula has become part of British territory. There were many conflicts between Britain and Argentina over these islands' occupation, culminating in 1982. This year, Argentine forces invaded the island and launched a major war. Within 10 weeks, 650 Argentine troops, more than 250 British troops, and 3 islanders were killed. Eventually, the island reached England. But the real winners of this war were the lovely penguins. Because of this year, their population became more and more daily. The Falkland Islands are famous for their penguins. The number of birds on the island was millions until a few hundred years ago. But times brought bad things to them. The story goes back to the 18th century when a new industry called whale oil was very popular and many people were engaged in whaling. On the other hand, the geographical location of the Falkland Peninsula made it an ideal place to catch whales and catch whale oil. To make whale oil, the animal's fat had to be put on fire in large containers full of water, but the Falkland Islands had one big drawback: it was completely treeless. So how could fishermen light a fire without a stick? They went to the penguins. Because this island is full of penguins, and on the other hand there is a lot of fat under the skin of penguins. Whale hunters knew the fact that this fat was completely flammable and could be a good substitute for fuel. The fact that penguins are tame and cannot fly also made them easy to hunt. For this reason, whenever there was not enough fuel to keep the fire burning, whale hunters would throw a few penguins into the fire instead of fuel. Millions of penguins were hunted on the island until the whale oil trade ceased. About 10 million penguins lived here 300 years before Europeans set foot on the peninsula. But after a while, their population dropped by 95%. Argentina, which had always wanted to retake the peninsula, planted about 20,000 mines along the coast and pastures near the capital to cut off British control of the occupied territories, but ultimately failed to take this peninsula for himself. After the war, Britain tried to clear the area, but it was laborious and dangerous. That is why Britain decided to fence these areas and keep people away from these areas by placing warning signs. Since people did not approach these areas for fear, it gradually became a safe area for penguins to live in. These birds are so light that walking in these areas does not cause bombs to explode at all. That's why penguins easily live in a safe area behind fences. No wonder, then, that over the past 30 years, their population has grown exponentially, with 1 million penguins living on the peninsula today. This strange protected area is so attractive to ecotourism that no one is taking action to clear the Falkland Islands. Number 2. Snakes Island. We all know Brazil as one of the world's top tourist destinations. Whenever we talk about football, coffee, carnival, and wildlife adventures, without a doubt, the first place that comes to mind is nowhere but Brazil. The country has countless tourist attractions. If you want to visit all of them, you may have to spend a year there. But among all these tourist attractions that attract many people from all over the world, there are also attractions in this vast country that attract a lot of attention because of their prohibition and dangerousness. Perhaps the best is the Island of Snakes, located not far from the Bay of São Paulo, and the Brazilian Army and Navy strongly prevent people from entering it. The Island of Snakes separated from the United States about 100,000 years ago by rising sea levels, after which snakes became trapped. This island is one of the places tourists are not allowed to visit. You will have no escape from snakes on this island. Because according to the locals, 1 to 5 snakes live in each square meter of it, and even more frightening is that one of the most poisonous snakes in the world, called the golden viper, is also a resident of this island. These snakes can only hunt birds because they have no other food source. Boats are not allowed on the island. That's why a lighthouse was built in 1909 to detect and prevent boats from entering remotely. Only researchers and research teams can be present on the island to collect their data. If you want to visit this island legally, you must defeat the Brazilian Navy. However, some tourists visit the island locally and by boat, which is dangerous and illegal. The area of this place reaches about 430,000 square meters, which is located at an altitude of 206 meters above sea level. It has a temperate climate and a green cover similar to dense forests, which makes it possible for snakes to surprise their prey by hiding among trees and plants. According to research, about 2,000 to 4,000 venomous snakes live on the island, among which the golden snake is the most venomous and dangerous. About 90% of snakebite deaths in Brazil are due to it being the venomous sting of this snake. It should be noted that this snake's venom is 3 to 5 times more deadly than other snakes. According to scientists who have visited the island, in addition to various species of dangerous snakes, you can also see giant animals. Most of these species are reptiles such as lizards and giant tarantulas.